Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Seeds of Faith. I am Reverend Siddiqui. The seed for today is dealing with doubt. What is doubt? Doubt is a feeling of not knowing what to believe or what to do or the condition of being uncertain. So, doubt causes hesitation, uncertainty, and lack of trust. Did you know that many people pretend to understand when they do not and hide their doubts? To get understanding, though, or to deal with our doubts, requires that we are first willing to admit that we do not understand or we have our doubts. We have to be honest about our doubts. Once we do that, then it makes it possible for us to get help to understand so that we can lay our doubts aside. But you know what? We cannot build a lasting relationship with Jesus without being honest. In the gospel lesson today, one of Jesus' disciples named Thomas had some doubts about whether Jesus had really come back from the dead. He was often absent whenever Jesus appeared to the others, and so when the other disciples told him they had seen Jesus, he didn't believe them. Jesus appeared before the disciples one day when Thomas was there. To deal with his doubt, Thomas decided to ask Jesus to show him his hands and his side. He thought if he was able to see Jesus' scars, then that would help to remove his doubt. Whenever we have doubts or do not understand something, one of the ways of dealing with our doubts is to ask as many questions as we need to. A good teacher is always willing to answer the questions that help their students to understand. Jesus was no different. When we have doubts or do not understand something, we should not be afraid to ask Jesus questions. Did you know that some of the strongest faith stories come from people who engage in a thorough investigation and fearless exploration? When Jesus finally appeared when Thomas was in the house, Thomas did not just ask questions, he also asked Jesus to give him an example. By example, he actually asked Jesus to let him see and touch his wounds. And guess what? Jesus allowed him to touch him and to see that he was real. This was not just good for Thomas, but also good for all the disciples who were there, because they also got additional evidence that Jesus had really returned from the dead. Once we have asked our questions and we have gotten examples, our next step is to accept the answer. And there are two ways to do that. The acceptance may be based on us getting an answer that makes sense, and so we see how everything connects. And sometimes we accept the answer by faith. When we accept an answer by faith, what we are doing is trusting the one who gives the answer that they are being honest and that what they say is true. So here is the seed for this week. As followers of Jesus, there are times when we do not understand something that gives us doubts. Jesus understands that we will have these doubts and wants us to have understanding. So he encourages us to be honest about our doubts and what we do not understand, to ask as many questions as we need to ask for an example if we need it, and to accept the answer as a fact or by faith. Like Thomas, we should always try to deal with our doubts. You'd be surprised it doesn't just help us, it might help others too. So, this week, remember, work on dealing with a doubt. It will make you wiser. See you next week. Bye.